guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Now, this is a video I've wanted to make for a very, very long time, but as you can tell by the title of this video, I am very aware that a lot of people are going to be upset, even from just seeing the title of this video. So I put it off for a very long time because I never want to upset people with my videos. I never want to cause issues in the Heartland community because of my videos. But as we go into now waiting for the announcement of Heartland Season 18 and kind of speculating on what could be next for Heartland, I really wanted to make this video because as I was thinking about it more and as I was thinking about where Heartland is as we go into Season 18, I think it's important to discuss this and realize from a writing standpoint and a marketing standpoint just how much damage Amy and Tai's relationship has done, possibly without even the writers being aware of it or the writers even trying for this to happen. And I don't think the writers intentionally want it to do damage with Amy and Tai's relationship. In fact, I don't think that at all. But as a result of Amy and Tai's relationship, I think that Heartland is going to suffer because of it. And I'm going to explain all of my thoughts in this video. So please, don't be upset, don't be angry. Please listen to what I have to say. If you disagree at the end of the video, that is completely fine. You are entitled to your own opinion, and I am, of course, entitled to mine. And it just so happens that I make videos on YouTube about my opinions on Heartland. So that is why I'm making this video. If you guys could leave a like on the video, I would really, really appreciate it. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. But when it comes to Amy and Tai's relationship, I first want to start off by saying I am in no way, shape, or form attacking Amber Marshall or Graham Wardle. That is not what I'm doing. I think that Amber and Graham do a fantastic job portraying Amy and Tai's relationship, and they always have. I'm looking at this from a marketing and writing perspective, not acting talent, okay? I'm not. Amber and Graham are great actors, and nothing anyone can say will change that. I think they are fantastic and phenomenal and very talented actors. However, the emphasis and the focus that the Heartland writers put on Amy and Tai's relationship at the beginning, I'm sure to the writers it seemed like a fantastic idea. I'm sure that they noticed, actually I'm very sure that they noticed that Heartland fans loved Amy and Tai's story. And that's wonderful, that's great, but Heartland has always been more than just Amy and Tai. Yes, their story was probably the main reason that people watched Heartland in the beginning. Okay? I'm going to just be very honest with you and say that that is probably the reason why many people watched Heartland in the beginning. What got your attention to watch Heartland was probably Amy and Tai. And if it wasn't Amy and Tai, it was Amy's connection with horses. Chances are it was one of those two things. But as we got into the later seasons of Heartland, and after Amy and Tai were married, and after they had Lindy and stuff like that, there's not really a lot you can do storyline-wise with a married couple that is presented and portrayed to be a happily married couple. And from a TV show standpoint, writers need drama to have new storylines. And Amy and Tai's marriage was not written to be dramatic. It was not written to be filled with drama, filled with heartache, filled with sadness, which is great. But from a writing standpoint, the writers have really kind of written themselves into a corner when it comes to Amy and Tai's relationship because of how they've written Tai and Amy's relationship, and because Amy and Ty's relationship was the biggest focus with Heartland for many years. When it got to that point, it's almost like the Heartland fans didn't care about Lou. They didn't care about Tim. They didn't care about Jack even as much as they care about Amy and Tai. So when they got to the point that Amy and Tai's relationship, they had already been through all the dramatic breakups and get back together, and they've already gotten married and they had a child and, all that kind of stuff, then what were they going to do? There was really nothing they could do because they were already depicted and portrayed as a happily married couple. Then, fast forward to season 14, and Graham Wardle left the show. So there's that. Now, Graham Wardle's departure from Heartland was something that I want to say was expected if you were involved at all in the Heartland discussion on social media. As we were waiting for Heartland Season 14 to premiere on CBC and CBC Gem, it became very, very clear during the filming of Season 14 that Graham Wardle was not on set at all. It became very clear, and soon enough, many people were starting to wonder, what's going on? Where's Graham? There's no Heartland without Amy and Tai. So what is going on? And then season 14 premiered and Tai died in the very first episode. And I was very aware of the fact when I watched that episode that in that moment Heartland lost a lot of fans. Because to them, Amy and Tai were Heartland. Without Amy and Tai, there was no Heartland. So just with that one scene, that opening scene of season 14, I know that Heartland lost a lot of fans. But that's not even the biggest issue. The biggest issue, in my opinion now, is that because of the way Heartland was written and because of the way they formatted the show back in the early seasons and the way they've written it and portrayed Amy and Tai's relationship and the focus that they put on Amy and Tai's relationship, now that it's been a few years since Graham's departure from Heartland, and now that we're waiting for season 18, the biggest issue, in my opinion, is the fact that if you are at all involved still with Heartland discussion on social media, the biggest question on everyone's mind is, and the biggest split in the community right now is Amy going to be with anyone else? Should she be with Nathan? Or is she going to end up, not being with anyone and, just raising Lindy on her own? Now, personally, I've explained this many times, but I'll just explain it really quickly in case for some reason you've never seen me explain it before or heard me explain it before. Amy is the main character of Heartland. We all know this. It's common knowledge at this point. But because she is the main character of Heartland, the writers need storylines for Amy that keep people entertained, that keep people coming back, that keep people wanting to find out what's going to happen with her character and with Lindy and everything like that. But because so many Heartland fans got I don't want to use the word obsessed, but yeah, I'm going to use the word obsessed. Because so many Heartland fans got obsessed with Amy and Tai's relationship and literally became so emotionally invested in their relationship, I know, unfortunately, that if Amy ends up with Nathan in season 18, which I'm fairly confident is the way that they are leaning and the way that they are going with the future of Heartland, if I'm right and Amy ends up with Nathan, that is going to upset so many people simply because Nathan is not Tai. And that is an issue because if Heartland fans don't let Heartland progress past Amy and Tai and become invested in the other characters, which I think slowly is happening with characters like Lou and Tim and Jessica and Jack and Lisa. But specifically with Amy, Heartland fans, specifically Tai and Amy fans, are like, nope, Amy can never be with anyone else. If she ends up with anyone else, I will stop watching. I've had people tell me that, okay? And that's not good for the future of Heartland. What I have liked about recent seasons is since Graham's departure, the writers have been developing other characters of the show, like Lou and Tim and Jack and Lisa and all of them, which is wonderful, but it might be a little bit too late, unfortunately. Personally, I loved seeing Lou's backstory in season 17, but of course that should come as no surprise to anyone if you've ever seen one of my videos before. I also love how Tim has become less of an annoying character and more of a main character that people don't mind anymore. He's not a character that when he comes on screen anymore, people are instantly annoyed. And I like that. But the big issue is if Heartland fans don't come to accept the fact that if you want there to be more seasons of Heartland, Amy has to move on. There has to be more storylines for her, and the easiest one for the writers to use is, well, she enters another relationship. How does she deal with that? How does she handle it? How does Lindy handle it? How does the family react? All of those are storylines that the writers can use, and personally, I think they should. I'm excited to see what they do with those storylines with Amy and Nathan. As I said, I'm very confident in the fact that that is the way they're going with Amy's character in season 18. But I know it's going to upset a lot of people, and that bothers me. And I know it's because Amy and Tai's relationship in the beginning of the show, there was too much focus on it. There was too much of Amy and Tai are Heartland and nothing else matters. That was a mistake, in my opinion. Now I know you can use the argument, well, Hannah, maybe they didn't know that Graham Wardle was eventually going to leave the show. I get that. But writers always have to be ready for something like that. If you want to create a show that can last when main characters leave, which will eventually happen because no one wants to be working on the same show forever. Some people will want to leave, like Graham. But if you want to create a show that lasts through that and can handle main characters leaving, you need to write a show that's not solely based around those characters. And unfortunately, I think because of the way Amy and Tai's relationship was written in the earlier seasons, now it's going to suffer in the future trying to make fans okay with Amy being in another relationship, because that is, in my opinion, the only way Heartland can have more seasons is if there is storylines involving Amy, focusing on Amy, and Amy being the main point of the storyline. That's the only way that there can be more seasons of Heartland, because I'm very aware that if Amy ever left the show, if Amber Marshall ever decided to leave, well, they might as well just cancel it. But I don't think Amber wants to quit Heartland, and so I think Heartland fans need to be okay with the idea of this is just a TV show. They need to understand it from a writing and marketing perspective, but I don't think they will, unfortunately. And so because of that, I think if you really step back and you look at it from a writing perspective, from a marketing perspective, from a perspective of I really want this show to last a long time, but I don't think it will because of this. If you ask yourself that question and you really, really think about it, I think Amy and Tai's relationship did more damage to Heartland in the long run than it did for the time that Graham and Amber were portraying Amy and Tai's relationship. I think unfortunately, Heartland is going to suffer now because of that. That makes me sad to say, but that is just honestly my opinion. Anyway, that is all I have for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye.